Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I will be doing a deck tech from the YouTube comment section for you guys. If you're interested in having me build a deck for you or help you tweak a current list that you're working on, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section below. A commander, a budget, a bracket, a theme, and or any pet cards that you have. Today, we'll be working on a deck from a personal friend of mine who built Oviya and was looking for better card draw options. I ended up revamping most of the deck, keeping it in a realistic budget range comparable to what it originally was, as well as focusing on that card draw. So let's get started. So we have Oviya, 3 colorless, and a green. Each creature that's attacking one of your opponents has trample, pay a green and tap it. Put a creature or a vehicle from your hand onto the battlefield. If it was an artifact, it gets 2 1/1 counters. We're not super worried about the 1/1 counters, but being able to just cheat giant bros onto the battlefield and tango is what this deck's all about. Start off with 2 planeswalkers. Garruk Primal Hunter, you're going to be looking to -3 this as soon as it comes down and draw a buttload of cards. And then Vivian Reed, you can deal with artifacts and enchantments, but more often than not, you're going to be looking to plus it and again look for creatures. So we get to the main section, which is the creatures. You see there's 33. The original list, I believe, had 40 plus, and then when I built the list, I personally had about 45 as well. There's a lot of good options when you're playing this commander, and it's very easy to just throw anything that is high converted mana cost into the deck list and make it powerful. I wanted to make sure that my creatures were affordable. If there are expensive ones, more often than not, they're already in the deck list, like the Eldrazi's. And then I also wanted my my creatures to have an immediate impact on the board. I didn't want them just to be big dumb idiots. I didn't want like just giant creatures that are do-nothings. I wanted to make sure that they impacted the board in a significant way, because I think the biggest thing holding this deck back is having your board wiped multiple times. That's going to be very difficult to fight back from, but hopefully with what we have here, we can get the job done. So Apex Altasaur, when it comes down, it's able to fight a creature. Archetype of Endurance as well as Dawnglade Regent can both grant our stuff hexproof, which is really good. Artisan of Kozilek, we do have a smattering of Eldrazi in here. Obviously, they're all good, even if you don't get the cast triggers. Having Annihilator and just a giant creature in play is good. Blightsteel Colossus can one-shot people. Diamond Weapon, a newer card from Final Fantasy that will actually come in as a 10/10 with our commander's ability. Disciple of Freyalise is a good option for card draw that we can cheat into play, and even if not, we have other stuff going on, we can simply play the opposite side as a land drop. Elvish Piper is a great effect, basically a secondary of our commander. Again, I can't stress this enough, protecting your commander is extremely important. Most of these giant creatures are replaceable and are all scary on their own, so you don't want to necessarily be saving the creatures so much as the commander. Fanatic of Vronus, 2 mana, produces a green the next turn, so it's just like any other artifact or enchantment ramp. The other cool ability is it has Ferocious to add even more if we control a big creature, and then it can also eternalize. So let's go ahead and get the ramp out of the way. We have Fanatic of Vronus, Sakura Tribuilder, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, 3 Visits, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Soul Ring. So 10 up, 10 down. A few notable includes is Emerald Medallion, which I don't really count as ramp, but it is. And then I will also note that if actually on the oh my god, the EDH rec page, it recommends Farseek. Do not play Farseek in this deck. Farseek says search your library for a island, swamp, plains, or mountain. You physically cannot get a forest with Farseek, so despite what EDH Rec says, do not put that as a ramp piece in here. Galta, Stampede Tyrant, obviously a great one to get down because then we can just dump our whole hand. Impervious Great Worm, so a giant indestructible beater, super cool card, one that you're not going to see in most decks, but it gets to see play here. It is leaning into the camp of do nothing giant creatures, but we do have some of them. This one is indestructible, plus it gets trample from our commander if it attacks. It That Betrays, another Annihilator. Jumbo Cactar, I have not played against this in Commander yet, but I'll tell you what, I am extremely excited to get hit for 9,999 in one shot. Kogla, the Titan Ape, something that we can use to deal with artifacts and enchantments consistently. A bunch of different Eldrazi's, Kozilek, other Kozilek, Oblivion Sower. Again, you're not getting the cast abilities from any of these, but if we are late game and you just hard cast them, you do. And even if not, having the ability to counter spells or giant annihilation is good. Paleoth can let us get stuff out of our graveyard. Pathraiser for annihilation. Selvala for good card draw and great mana acceleration. Sire of Seven Deaths, another one of those crazy creatures that kind of just does a little bit of everything. Soul of New Phyrexia, a great way to protect the board. Soul of the Harvest is card draw. Summon Bahamut. These new Saga creatures are insane in a deck like this, because obviously having a 9/9 flyer for 1 mana and tapping your commander is already good, but then you also get to work your way through the chapters. Nyxbloom Ancient, tripling your mana. Titan of Industry, great enter the battlefield triggers. Ulamog's Dreadsire can make creatures. Another ability that exiles. Annihilator, life gain when big creatures enter. We have Vorn Clicks, which is unlegible. Let's switch to this version. Being able to double your mana, and then basically you put essentially stun counters for the new players on other people's mana when they tap it. And then World Spine Worm, which is huge when it comes down and then replaces itself. We already talked about most of the ramp, but we also have Shamanic Revelation as card draw. This card has largely gotten replaced over the years in Commander. I think it still sees play in a few decks and warrants it. In a deck like this, I think it's great for card draw, but we have much better options. It's mostly here because it also gains us a truckload of life. Instance, Heroic Intervention. The biggest way that this deck is going to lose is overpopulating the board and committing too much to it. Normally with your commander, you shouldn't need much more than 1 or 2 creatures to be a must board wipe situation, so just be careful with how much you're committing and how much you're saving for later. Hunter's Insight is a one-off giant card draw spell, and then Rapid Vigor is another super interesting and neat way to save your board by giving all of it regenerate, so if somebody Day of Judgments, you can just simply regenerate. Artifacts, we talked about most of these. The Emerald Medallion of note. Herd Heirloom is fairly new. It gets to accelerate us. I guess I should have counted this for sure in the acceleration section. And then it also turns into card draw later in the game. Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots, great for everything going on in this deck, but especially good for protecting our commander. You can even consider things like Commander's Plate if you end up increasing the budget. This would be another great option to protect your commander. I would say in general, any way that you can find to consistently protect him from board wipes is going to be vital, and the better your deck gets at it, the scarier and higher bracketed I would consider this deck to be. A couple of artifact vehicles. We have Reaver Titan. It has a little bit of self-protection, and then it can deal damage straight up. Sky Sovereign can deal damage to a creature, and then Rolling Hamster. It's just an amazing card. It's awesome art. Everything about this card is awesome. There's no reason not to play it in this deck. Enchantments, mostly card draw, so this is what we ended up focusing on when it came to improving the deck list. Colossal Majesty, Elemental Bond, Garruk's Uprising, Growing Rights of Itlimoc, Guardian Project, Tribute to the World Tree, all quality card draw. Obviously this one not as much, but it flips into Guy's Cradle, so we can't be too picky. If your budget was even higher, you could look at things like Sylvan Library would be a great option. Obviously, the Great Henge is an amazing card for this deck, but extremely expensive, probably due for a reprint sooner than later, and unfortunately, it's just not worth what it costs right now. If you already have it, it's a slam dunk. But again, I did want to be fairly mindful about how much money we were putting into this. Kenler's Transformation, probably the best removal spell in Commander, at least for in the 2 mana bracket. I think it's better than actually exiling most of the time because they don't have the ability to recast it, and not a lot of people play bounce spells. So you'll see more often than not when you cast this on somebody's commander, their best option is just to swing or try to block with it, and if you just don't give that to them, it makes it really, really hard for them to get their game plan online. Finally, Defense of the Heart. It's an amazing in a deck like this. Basically, just go get 2 creatures in your deck, throw them into play, shuffle your library. If you're worried about getting board wiped, grab 2 indestructible guys and you'll be good to go. Lands, I kept mostly the same. I definitely think you should add a Castle Garenbreg. It's affordable and it ramps you really well in this deck. Homeward Path, Reliquary Tower, Rogue's Passage. Shifting Woodland is another cool way to kind of buy something out of our graveyard on the cheap. Temple of the False God is going to be good ramp. And then finally, War Room is probably the best card draw spell in this deck. Having it on a land and only have to pay 1 life in order to draw a card is awesome. Overall, I think this deck made huge improvements. Bunter, if you're looking at the cost of the deck and that's shying you away from the list that you sent me, obviously just look to cut the super expensive creatures that I added. There's a lot of stuff in here like Vorinclex. It's $25. It's definitely not necessary, but if you got it, play it. If not, cut it. Put some other big dumb idiot in there, and I'm sure you're still going to have a good time. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Godspeed.